What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let's get right into it. Fight prediction: Nonito Donaire and Nicholas Walters. Excellent matchup on paper. It proves to be a good fight. I mean, I don't see how this fight cannot be entertaining. Stylistically, it's intriguing to me because both fighters, in a way, kind of mirror each other. Like if you look at each other's mo and their attributes and their strengths and stuff, it's very comparable. One fighter may have a slight edge in that category, but they both have it, if that makes any sense. Like Nonito has power, Nicholas Walters has power. Nonito Donaire is known for speed. Nicholas Walters has speed. It might not be as much speed as Nonito Donaire, but he still has decent, good hand speed. And they're both counterpunchers. Some people might not consider Nicholas Walters a counterpuncher, but I've seen him counterpunch. In the Vic Darchinyan fight, for example, he was landing a nasty uppercut. I think that's one of his underrated tools is the uppercut. And a lot of people probably haven't seen him, don't give him credit for his body work, but he does those two things. But with the uppercut, he was sneaking it in. Like first time I seen him in the Darchinyan fight, he was trying to land it and he missed or whatever. And Vic Darchinyan, not necessarily a technical guy, but he came in and he just bowed. He just timed it right and knocked him down. That was the first knockdown in the fight. And Vic got back up, right back up. But it was still a good punch. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure anytime you get a knockdown, that's going to increase your confidence. So that was just the beginning of the end for Vic Darchinyan in that particular fight. But I like Walters, man. I like what I've seen so far. I'm a huge fan of Nonito Donaire. Have been for a while. He represents the Bay Area as long as myself, so it's very hard for me to pick a winner because I want to see both of them do good. But for the sake of this video and being real with my fans, I got to make a prediction. And I'm rocking with Nicholas Walters on this particular one. Now, it was a very hard decision. Like I said, it's a 50-50 fight. I really consider it like Kell Brook versus Sean Porter type of fight. Like, not in terms of styles, but in terms of the 50-50 aspect. When I was making my prediction, I could make a strong argument for both winning. I landed with Kell Brook, and a lot of what I said turned out to be accurate. So we'll see what my prediction serves for this particular fight. Now, the reason I'm giving just the ever so slight edge to Nicholas Walters, even though he hasn't been to this stage and this big of a platform before, is because one big thing is just overall momentum and hunger. Nonito Donaire, since the Rigondeaux fight, has not looked the same. And I know a lot of people are saying that, but it's true. Like you look at Nonito Donaire, I don't know if he still has the passion. I know he had a kid, maybe he wants to be a family man. I mean, Cotto got to this stage in his career right before he partnered with Freddie Roach. And he looked shitty in the Austin Trout fight. And I'm like, damn, this is Cotto? And people were actually, I don't know if you remember, but I had my channel established back then. People were saying, oh, Miguel needs to hang it up. He's garbage now. He's hurting his legacy and stuff like that. Because Cotto just did not look like vintage Cotto for a period of time. You know what I mean? He did good in the Mayweather fight, but the Trout fight, people were like, damn, Trout? And realistically, I think Nonito is at that point, you know what I'm saying, where this is going to make or break him. So he could win. It's like I said, it's a 50-50 fight. I love a good boxing story, so I just ultimately want to see a good story unfold in the boxing ring. But again, I have to go off momentum in recent performances, and Nicholas Walters has had better recent performances than Nonito, in my opinion. The way Nicholas Walters disposed of Vic Darchinyan was far more impressive than how Nonito Donaire did it, who was behind on the scorecards when he rematched Darchinyan. Plus, you got to take into consideration Vic Darchinyan, when Nonito fought him the second time, that was supposed to be a tune-up fight coming off of a upsetting loss to Rigondeaux. You know what I mean? And this is a guy you already knocked out. So you should ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, have a mental edge because you knocked him out years before, like maybe 6 years before or whatever it was. So I didn't expect Donaire to look suspect like he did against Darchinyan. He was able to get the job done and stop Darchinyan late, but he just didn't look good in doing so. You know what I mean? And you have a guy like Nicholas Walters, and I'm not using the triangle theory, but just listen to what I'm saying. You got a guy like Nicholas Walters, first time ever fighting him, and he looked hungry and he looked just tagging Darchinian. Darchinian really couldn't find a rhythm with this dude. So the way Nicholas Walters dispatched of Vic Darchinian, without a doubt in my mind, was far more impressive. He had several knockdowns. He wasn't behind on the scorecards. He was clearly winning, and he looked better. Then you go to Nonito Donaire in the Siempre Way fight. He got that cut, and it looked like he didn't want it. It looked like he was like calling his own timeouts and turning his back and shit in that particular fight. And I've seen plenty of fighters have nasty, nasty cuts. I've seen David Haye with a nasty cut, and he went on to knock out the opponent who caused the cut. Mayweather versus Maidana. In the first fight, he got a bad cut. He was able to fight on. I've seen tons of fighters fight with different Pacquiao versus Eric Morales. He still gave Eric Morales a run for his money and arguably won that fight. Some people said Eric Morales won. He got the nod according to the judges. Some people thought Pacquiao should have won. So it's proven historically that you can fight with the cut, but Nonito Donaire, his spirit wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the willingness to go on. It's like he wanted to get the fight stopped. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like Shane Mosley. When Shane Mosley fought Anthony Mundine, he had back spasms. He looked like he didn't want to continue. He didn't want to keep fighting. You know what I mean? And that's not a good sign for a fighter. So based on recent performances, I have to take that into consideration, and that's why I'm giving Nicholas Walters a slight edge. Stylistically, it should be an explosive fight. Nonito Donaire definitely can win it, and this will put him right back on the map with the win over a guy, an up-and-coming lion like Nicholas Walters. I think Nonito, he has probably one of the best left hooks in the business. Him, Danny Garcia come to mind when I think of left hooks. And Nonito has power. His speed is one thing that hasn't been as apparent. Like when he fought Rigondeaux looked quick as shit, and Donaire didn't look as fast. Like I actually picked Donaire to beat Rigondeaux. If you watch my channel or you were subscribed to me back then, I picked Donaire to beat Rigondeaux because I thought Rigondeaux had a suspect chin. But in the actual fight, it's just between Rigondeaux's brains, his footwork, and his decisions in the ring, he made Donaire look shitty. And I thought Donaire was, you know what I mean, he's called the Filipino Flash. I just haven't really seen much of the Filipino Flash in quite some time in recent fights. So I don't know how much of a crazy speed advantage he's going to have over Nicholas Walters. Another thing that bothered me with Nonito, what he said, I watched a recent interview after the press conference or weigh-ins or whatever, and Nonito Donaire said, the hunger is finally back. He said something to that effect. Now, the thing that bothers me with that is you're saying finally back. So that's basically admitting, in my mind, that it was gone, that you were lacking that. Because there's no reason for you to have said that if you ongoing had the hunger. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's just like, for me to pick Donaire right now, it just seems like too much of a gamble. So I'm going to go with the person who's looked better. And I just didn't like that comment. Like, we'll see. We'll see if the hunger is really back. But that worries me when a fighter is saying the hunger is back, because that, to me, suggests that the hunger actually went somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to call my friend and be like, yeah, I'm back at the house, if I was at home the whole time. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. But if I went to the store and then I came back, then I'd be like, hey, I'm back at the crib. But that's just my personal opinion. Both fighters could definitely win it. 50-50 fight. Good fight. We'll see. It's going to be either the passing of the torch, or we're going to have the veteran and the recognized champion show you why he was on people's pound-for-pound list before the Rigondeaux fight. So I have no complaints with this fight. Yeah, so I have no complaints with this fight. I really want to see it. May the best man win. Props to both fighters. I give Nonito Donaire a hell of a lot of credit, though. Everything I just said about him and his recent performances, I totally feel. But you got to give him credit. With that being said, and I'm pretty sure he knew that he's backtracked a bit. You know what I mean? He hasn't looked as good as he did when he was knocking out Montiel and stuff like that. And he's still taking this fight. So for that reason, in this boxing climate, I give him props after props after props for even taking on an opponent like Nicholas Walters. Because you got other guys in other divisions and stuff like that. Or even in his own division. Leo Santa Cruz and Rigondeaux. It doesn't look like Santa Cruz really wants that fight. And again, I just spent time talking about how I think Nonito Donaire has taken a step back since the Rigondeaux loss, and he's still up for the fight. He's still up and putting it all on the line. So, I mean, I give him mad props for taking that type of risk given the current situation and in the chronological order of how his career's looked in recent memory. So, let me know what you guys think. Who are you picking to win and why? I really just think Nicholas Walters, his timing is probably underrated. His body punching, and I think that uppercut. I would look for that uppercut, which is a sneaky punch. But it's gonna be a real big test because I've never seen his chin tested, and Donaire has power. Donaire is pretty big for his division, so this is gonna be the ultimate test to see if his chin can even hold up and withstand at this elite level. So we're going to get answers shortly in less than 24 hours. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.